Hello, friends. Welcome to Learn English with Karen. Our today's topic is perspective, the lens we choose. In our everyday instances, we see a lot of things, listen, and we actually perceive, we interpret whatever we see, hear, or touch. And the way we behave is something what is aligned with perception and perspective. So, we are going to figure out the difference between perception and perspective and how they actually help us frame our outlook towards the world. So, first, let's try to understand what is perception. When I say perception, it is nothing but trying to get in whatever that we have understood through our sensory inputs. So, whatever we sense through our sensory organs, it could be the way we see, listen, then whatever we probably feel, touch, all the sensory outputs or inputs that are there are going to define our perception about a particular thing. So let's take an example. The climate is a bit strange these days. It's raining outside. So, what is the perception of most of the people? All are going to have the same perception. It's raining. Right? Why? Because we can just see. We can see it's raining. We can feel the water drops that are there. So, everyone notices this. And that is what is called as perception. But now, when I say this perception, at times it is filtered. Why is it filtered? It is filtered because of our own, past experiences. So earlier, was there any rain in the month of October? No. So when it rained in the month of October, how do you feel? Because of the past experience, you feel it is an odd thing. And most of us might not even like it. Why? Because whatever perception that we had about rain has been filtered a bit. Because it's an unusual rain that has happened recently. So this is how, even if I say perception is something that is sensory with our own inputs, even though just because it is something that's unusual, which has never happened before. That's why we are considering it to be an unusual thing. And this is how, even if I say perception, it is at times filtered. Now let's try to dive into perspective. So now when it comes to perspective, it is something that we outlook, the way we interpret it. It could be because of our cultural backgrounds. It could be because of our identity and lived experiences, or any other thing that is surrounding to us, and we have made our own notion. So even if it's an unusual rain, some would probably be glad about it. Why? Because they feel that, oh, it's good. Instead of the hot summers, cold and, chilly weather would actually be good for them. But when it comes to farmers, for farmers, usually rain is considered as a blessing. But these days, is the farmer thinking the same? Not really. The only reason is their crops are about to harvest and they were ready for the harvesting season. They were very glad that, oh, now it's time to, cut down the crops and enjoy whatever hard work that they had done. But instead, the showers of rain might damage the crops that they have grown, because of which their perspective is, oh God, why did it happen? They would be stressed, they would be worried. Okay, and this is how their perspective of how they look at this has changed. So you need to understand this, that even if we live in the same society, most of the people are having different perspectives, and trying to understand them is really important when we are working together in a team, in a society, as a group. And this would actually help us to work and collaboratively do something better for the society. Now, why are we discussing perspective is because with time, the world has globalized. We are now having a lot of even foreigners coming here and residing with us. Understanding them, trying to make them feel like our own is a better way because globalization is the key. Even we Indians are going abroad and settling in different places. And it has become a norm. When it is actually a norm, then why are we still not able to accept this diversity that is there? Now, even when it comes to our own thinkings, we live in a society full of so many varieties, and trying to understand and accept different lens is really important. It will give us a better understanding of how people live. Earlier, if you see a lot of religious people were having an orthodox thinking, like having one faith, believing in one Lord, or believing in one particular, you could say, deity is something that's important. But now you see a lot of people, or youngsters, I would say, not the elder generation, is accepting all religions. They have the same faith when they bow before the Lord, okay, or before in any temple or any mosque. They believe that all religions are same. Why? Because there's a sense of, you could say, humanity that plays an important role. Even there are a lot of people you would have heard about atheist. Earlier, there was no one who would ever, say in front of people that I'm an atheist, not believing in God. It is such a strange thing. Earlier, when I heard for the first time that someone told me that they don't believe in God, and I was like, what? Why? Because I have been grown up in a society where I always believed in God. Being a spiritual person, I always thought that everyone should believe in God. So my perspective was, how could someone not believe in God? But now, over the time, I've understood that it is a personal choice. Okay, so my perception, if you had seen in the earlier time, was how come someone would, be against God. Having that notion made me feel like, are there people like this who do not believe in God? But over a period of time, going through trying to know a lot of people who don't believe in God, I understood that they are people who are quite rational. And with time, I have understood that I cannot actually tell them that there's God. Okay, they have their own reasons for it. And it is their choice or their way of choosing what they want. And this way, with time, my perspective has been that whatever we believe in or whatever thoughts that we have are our own desires, our own personal choices. And no one else can actually interfere or try to confront them. So, do let me know any point of your life of today. What has happened? How did you see or hear it? And how did you perceive it? And did it impact? Even try to write it in three different ways. Your perspective as you, your perspective of anyone older in your family or your society, or your perspective as a younger kid, and see how the same thing is perceived in three different instances. And do comment. Thank you for listening.